All right, guys, back here for Jog Your Mind, segment number 3, talking all about how to get confident on race day. This is one of the things that I see start to happen. I was listening to a couple of athletes over the last couple of days talk about confidence and how do we build it. And it really comes back to two things that I'll talk about today: confidence and concentration. First and foremost, how do we build confidence? Well, the way that I've always looked at confidence is it's a function of daily practice. It's not like a light switch that you just turn on and all of a sudden become confident. It comes from experience, but it also comes from testing yourself and a willingness to put yourself in increasingly tougher situations or increasingly riskier situations when it comes to workouts. Can you go another rep? Can you go a little bit faster for a little bit longer? Can you kind of stretch what you thought your possibility was? And being able to do that inside workouts is where we build that confidence little by little and day by day. And so when we think about daily practice, I want you guys to think about mentally creating race situations that when you're in a workout, put yourself in the race. If you're in the last reps, think about how much discomfort and what you're going to experience and how you would like that to play out. Always moving to an ideal state of, I want my race to feel like this and I want to execute like this. And so you're always patterning how you want the race to play out. I think the other big thing here is trusting in your preparation. It takes 10 to 14 days for the workout you did to show up in race fitness. There's just kind of a delayed whiplash effect. So what that really means is that if you've been having good workouts lately, then you should expect to have good races. If things have been a little up and down, you've been sick or things like that, there may be a delayed effect to the performance. The third thing here when it comes to confidence is positive talk. I want you guys to always be thinking about how you can talk positively to yourself, but this will make a lot more sense at the very end. If we want to have good things happen, we have to shift our mindset into a place of positivity and openness and see that these good things are possible. But that also means that if conditions aren't ideal, it's hot, or the course isn't the one that you like or things like that, that if you show up negative, it's going to be hard for you to shift into a positive mindset, especially if the race then begins not to play out how you imagined it. The next thing is concentration. This is one that I hear from a lot of people, is that inside a race, my mindset shifts, and it shifts usually into a negative place. So one of the things I want you guys to think about is, how can you concentrate better? You can engage yourself in the race. You can be more engaged. And the way that I think about this is creating a personal dialogue with yourself. And this means talking yourself through the race. All right, I'm going to get out fast. And then I know that it necks down. So I'm going to try and, get myself in good position. And I'm going to pump my arms up this hill. And then talking yourself through the entire race is a great way to stay engaged and keep your concentration high. And one of the places that I think is really helpful, or one of the things that I think you can do, is that if concentration is tough for you to harness, think about just going back and simplifying. That if you're someone that gets overwhelmed by thinking through and trying to talk yourself through the course, come back to something really, really simple. I think of 3 examples that I can give you of things that I could say or do. You could just tell yourself, be focused and present, right? Just be here, be working on this. You could tell yourself, I'm determined to succeed. And that can be a great uplifting thing to tell yourself. I'm determined to succeed. It's tough. I'm determined to succeed. You can keep pushing through some of those tougher areas. I'll give you guys mine. This is one that I have used for years. It's gotten me through races and workouts. Don't be afraid to hurt. Sometimes we get right onto the edge of really being uncomfortable, and we're almost afraid of the pain or the things that are hurt. And sometimes you have to lean into that, because the reality is that if you're racing, your job in that moment is to be uncomfortable and put 100% of yourself out there. So today we talked about trying to harness and understand, how do we go into races confident? I'm going to give you guys a little snippet here. This is part of our download for this week, is how do we set up a good warm-up? How can we actually increase our confidence and increase our chances of having a good race? A good 2-mile warm-up, I think, is half a mile out from the start and return back in. You get a lot of information. Is it a really wide start? Are there a lot of lumps? Does it neck down into single track? what happens in the first half mile. And then if you can, go to the finish, get a half mile out and a half mile back. That's going to give you 2 miles of information. I like to create what's called a commitment point with my athletes, that when they get to a certain place, maybe it's a marker, a tree or whatever, 300, 400, 600 meters out in a race, we call that the commitment point. From that point forward, your job is to put the gas pedal down and just commit to completely putting out 100% of the effort in the race. And the only way you can really do that is if you have seen it. And so think about it like this. You've seen a half mile of the course out, a half mile of the course on the way in. There's a little bit of mystery in the middle, but the rest of that is all about what's happening inside here. So let's go through this real quick because I'm trying to keep these short and sweet. If you find yourself someone that's struggling inside a race, I want to give you guys 3 things to do to shift that mindset, and then we're out of here. The first one is I want you guys to recognize that you went negative. Sometimes that's all you can do is just recognize my mindset shifted. The next time you race, next time you're in a workout, I want you guys to think about interrupting that thought and just saying, nope, I don't want to go negative today. Whether it's interrupting or even shifting that thought, that's kind of the next piece is how do I shift and move myself into a reframed place, into a better spot, a higher or more positive thought. And sometimes saying those things like, be focused and present, I'm determined to succeed, don't be afraid to hurt. Those are great ways to reframe a situation if it's not going the way you want to. So with that said, I'm trying to keep these a little bit shorter. I got some great feedback from you guys. Please keep sending me emails, texts, anything to give me feedback on how to make this segment even better for you guys. With that said, I will see you guys next week for segment number 4.